press star 1.
Okay, I do have Gail Snyder's line is now open.
Hi, my name is Gail Snyder. I'm calling from Illinois. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, very clear.
Well, I'm calling from the state which has the most nuclear reactors and the most stored nuclear waste from those reactors of any state in the country. I just want to say I have a comment on maximizing the opportunity for public comment. With a total of 3 hours allowed in each of these 12 hearings for public comment, these meetings minus the time for introductions, protocols, NRC presentations, and a break, which took today over 30 minutes, the whole country has less than 30 hours total of publicly facilitated commentary time spread across the entire nation. 2 of the 12 meetings, the first and the last, will have teleconference webcasting available to the public to listen and make commentary. This is not maximizing the opportunity for public comment. This is not a thorough or comprehensive process, as the nuclear industry spokesperson stated earlier, and certainly if any meetings are canceled due to the government shutdown and not rescheduled, that would make it even worse. It's my contention that the comments made at a public hearing process of any governmental hearing is an important component in community involvement and transparency that has a different but equally important role from the submission of written comments. Publicly made statements allow for the discourse on a topic to be shared in real time that facilitates immediate feedback and stimulates conversation and thought among the participants of the community. If this process were not important, all comments would be submitted in written form. So I would just like to submit to you that many people would like the opportunity to participate in all 12 of the public hearings or public hearings that don't currently have the webcasting teleconference option available. I would like to request that the NRC facilitate all 12 meetings or as many as possible with the teleconferencing, the webcasting. And I don't think that such a task is an unreasonable request to ask of the NRC. You're already familiar with this process. I know it's not perfect, but I know you're familiar with it, and I don't think it's unreasonable to request. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gail. You had some good points there, and all I would say is that at this meeting and at any of the other public meetings, the NRC is going to stay until we hear from everybody who's signed up to comment. This one being in the room and by phone. And the second thing I would add is that on November 14th, the NRC has now scheduled final meeting is also going to provide access by phone to people, and I'll just leave it at that. And also, though, we take note of your point on presentations and all of that. So thank you very much, Gail.
Thank you.
Okay, Nikki Van Bell.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Right on. First off, excellent job, and I was very grateful to hear that the NRC has taken the precaution of creating a slush fund. Why the control of our nuclear sites is not, what is the defined term, essential, whatever. I just wanted to say this. If we could get the definitions commonly found in the dictionary for waste and confidence, I think we could get to the root of the matter here that we're dealing with, because there's a lot of words going around, but a lot of meaning getting lost. And the story that we're going to script to this public comment time is very important. I am a stakeholder. I don't represent anybody but myself as a mother of my daughter, and hoping that she's going to have grandbabies one day, that it may or may not be affected by the nuclearized water we already have. And now we're creating a situation where we do not have waste confidence because we do not have containment of the waste we already have. And if we ignore that, and I don't know why the lawyers haven't already gone to the court and said we need more time, because the president of Japan has said Fukushima is not contained. That's where I am. Anyway, hope to see you guys in San Luis and here in California.
Okay.
To work.
Thanks, Nikki. We'll look forward to that also. And we're going to go to Leslie March. And for everybody in the room or on the phones, when you do speak, if you could just tell us your affiliation, if appropriate, would appreciate that. And Leslie, are you on?
Yes, I am.
Great. So please talk to us.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Leslie March. I live in Hillsboro, Oregon, and I am a member of the Sierra Club's Nuclear Free Core Team. But the following is my personal comments. We will be submitting official comments for the Sierra Club at a later date. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. And I just wanted to kind of reiterate some of the things that Gail was talking about in the beginning. I'm very concerned about the entire process of this EIS. The NRC seems to be in a hurry to proceed to the end of the process without giving it careful review. The public meetings are not being held near reactor communities with the exception of the California meetings. The public was not given enough notice for the first meetings. Those of you who have seen the GEIS, we could use it for a doorstop, and it's been less than 30 days since it was submitted to the public for us to read. So I want to reproach the NRC for trying to rush this process. I want to state emphatically, contrary to one of the people who went before me, I am not crazy about nukes. And I'm not confident in the Nuclear Regulatory Commission to cite a permanent repository, particularly in this 25 to 30 year time frame. I really would like to see this environmental impact statement looking at alternatives like not making the waste at all. My background is a financial professional, and I am concerned that the true costs of the nuclear fuel cycle are not discussed in this document. The long-term social and monetary costs of the creation of radioactive waste are not evaluated, nor are the costs considered a potential accident or incident relating to spent fuel, like a pool fire, pool leakage, long-term cask storage failure, or transportation of radioactive waste. In addition, the costs of handling the existing on-site waste and restoration of the lands decimated by mining were ignored. In my case, I am particularly concerned about the generic aspects that the NRC wants to bring to this process. Each reactor site has its own unique signature and needs to be treated individually. In my case, the Columbia Generating Station is in the agricultural center of Washington State. An accident threatens $9.5 billion worth of products in Washington and another $6 billion in Oregon. This is besides having the populations of Seattle, Spokane, and Portland downwind based on what direction the wind blows. We also have the risk of contaminating the Columbia River, a national treasure, and we have the double jeopardy of having the Hanford Reservation next door, where we have confidence in particular storage tanks that are now leaking. Safe storage of spent fuel needs to consider all of these risks for each one of the individual sites. There are also seismic and flood issues that need to be considered. I'm asking that the EIS thoroughly discuss spent fuel impacts for each reactor, follow NEPA by considering alternatives for creation of future waste, including the alternative to continue the moratorium on relicensing and licensing reactors, with the goal of phasing out all reactors by 2020 or sooner. If the Germans can do it, we can. The EIS also needs to include an investigation of the carbon effects of the fuel cycle. As we continue to try to decrease greenhouse gases in the United States, continuing to mine, mill, and process uranium is a contradiction. In fact, one of the most dangerous chemicals that depletes the ozone layer, Freon, has been used in converting uranium to fuel. Construction and decommissioning nuclear power plants are also high carbon emitters. The EIS needs to look at renewables and energy efficiency as being an alternative to creating more nuclear waste. In conclusion, I'm proposing that the EIS meet its NEPA requirements by offering alternatives, considering each reactor site separately, and to evaluate all of the costs involved, not just how much it will cost to do an EIS, which is what it says right now. And also, one of the things that was mentioned earlier by one of the NRC officials mentioned a statement of no significance. This particular statement should never be considered in this case. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Let's stay with the Sierra Club and go to Stephen Solheim. And then we're going to go to Marvin Lewis, and then we're going to come back to people in the room here in Rockville. So, Stephen, are you on?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good, thank you. I'm sorry, I wasn't on the phone when you called me before. I'm Stephen Sondheim. I live in Memphis, Tennessee, in and around TVA that has about 5 or 6 nuclear power plants, some of which are over budget. I'm also with the Nuclear Free campaign in the Sierra Club. I want to say something quickly about carbon free, and then I want to go on to some questions. The nuclear cycle is not carbon free at all. Considering the entire cycle, like Leslie just said, it makes a significant contribution. And we've analyzed that if some of the money going into the nuclear program were to go into a fast-paced efficiency and renewable program, we could reach a carbon-free scenario much, much quicker. Okay, well, regarding the waste competence, I want to ask the NRC to consider, can they definitely state with confidence that there is no danger with our current ways of dealing with radioactive waste? And I don't think so. And is there currently a safe way to store the waste? We should wait until a safe method exists, if ever. And I'm not even sure, and none of us are, that deep geological storage is safe. I think the assumption is being made that if something can be found, that's it, we're done. I don't think so. I think that needs to be analyzed as well. Putting it down, in various places for tens of thousands of years. All the places we've found so far have not passed muster. What is the muster? So I don't think this assumption that someday we might be able to find that is confidence producing at all. It's like a pig in a poke. It's like jumping with no place to land. And another aspect is that there doesn't seem to be a way to currently isolate radioactive waste from effects on life, on the biosphere. So it's not confidence producing to say they will find one. I think it's a false premise in the EIS to base future of something we don't have yet. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen. And Marvin Lewis. Marvin, are you on the phone?